Amelia Island Cars and Coffee at the Concours 2019 with something like 25 really awesome Mercedes behind me. And if any of you have ever wanted to go to this event, it's free and it's fun, so we'll be here next year too, God willing. And if you guys stick with us now, we're going to go on an awesome adventure where we meet the owners of some of these cars. I try to keep interesting stories about these cars and their owners up here, you know? So this is a 500K Special Roadster or Cabriolet Egg?
Special Roadster.
And how many of these were made?
In this body style, there were approximately 25 or 30. This one, there were two versions of the long tail Special Roadster. One had two spares on the back, and the top one would be exposed, which you see most often.
Yes.
And this one has the covered single spare.
Which is obviously more elegant.
Yeah. And of those, of the covered spare Roadsters, there were, as best we can tell, about 8. 2 of them were 500Ks, and the rest were 540Ks.
So the rest of the covered spare cars were 540K, so this is one of 2.
No, unfortunately, what I bought was the original chassis and engine. That's all that survived the war.
Really?
So I started with a twisted frame and a hole through the engine block with original 500K, and all the rest of this has been handmade over the last 7 years.
That's
so
amazing.
The two covered spares, 500Ks, neither one of them survived. They're gone.
So basically you had to use factory drawings or something like that.
Well, the man who made all the body and trim work has been working on the original 500 and 540K since the 1980s.
Really?
And so he has all the forms and bucks and templates and diagrams and measurements that he needed to make these factory correct.
Wow. Well, obviously it looks factory correct. So that means he did a good job.
Oh, yeah.
Now tell me how you found the frame and the engine, because that's what really fascinates me.
Well,
you can't start if you don't have a frame and an engine.
Right. Well, the man who wrote the Bible on these cars is
Jan Mellon,
and he did one smaller book that was just the 500 and 540.
The second volume, right? No, this is another
one.
one.
Scandinavia, and it's only in Swedish language. Very hard to find, but in that book of his, this car is written up, and he said that after the war it was wreckage, and it literally was. That's all that was left.
But it survived somehow.
An American soldier, a story you've heard a million times. American soldier brought it back to the States. He intended to put an Auburn Speedster body on it.
But he saw what it was and recognized it had some kind of intrinsic value.
Right.
Smart guy.
He never did anything with it. It sat around for 10 or 15 years. A baron in Denmark then bought it, took it back across the pond. It sat in his storage for another 10 to 15 years until these cars started going up in value. Wow. He says, hey, I've got one of those. So he ordered his museum shop to make a replica body, not this one.
Yeah.
And it sat in, and then he died a few years later after that was finished. And it sat in his museum until 2008 when they closed the museum. And then the entire collection of over 200 cars was auctioned off in 2012.
Right.
And I bought.
I remember reading about the auction.
Yeah. So I bought the car, and it started its 7-year restoration to this day.
Amazing. Wow. What made you choose these colors?
You know, that was the most difficult decision I had to make, because everything else I just hired the right guys and said do it right. But for the paint color and the leather choices, the canvas for the top, I sweated bullets for years trying to figure out what I was going to do. And, but this is an original Mercedes color called Dunkel Bordeaux, dark burgundy.
Is it color code 542?
It's very close to it. We tweaked it just slightly because 542 has a tendency to show a little bit more brown.
Yes, it does.
And so we tweaked it just a hair.
Well, it had, again,
yeah.
I have to commend you for your perseverance with this thing.
Well,
because a lot of the time people say, oh, you have such a nice car, but often they don't recognize that the owner of the car has had to persevere through a lot of very difficult and complicated, mechanical, financial, construction-related situations that could halt the project at any time. So Thank you.
People asked me if I did any of the work myself, and I said, well, other than writing checks, my skills were identified as disassembly, polishing screw heads, and sanding brass.
You know, at least you were involved in the project, though.
I did a little bit.
All of that stuff has one thing in common, and it's all very difficult, tedious, time-consuming work. You know, in disassembly, people think, oh, just zip it apart, but you have to catalog everything. You know, you have to spend hours sometimes polishing and cleaning brass before chrome plate is tough.
And people don't, I mean, as beautiful as everything else is, most people don't recognize that the most intricate part of the whole car is the radiator.
I had one of these explode in my face.
That's 10,000 little tiny square tubes, all cut with a, you know, to a particular
This is
angle.
like a $70,000 to $90,000 radiator.
Well,
I was working on
a year and a half.
I was working on a 540K in Hilton Head, and I said, you know, I just sort of put a little bit of pressure on the radiator to see where it's leaking, like 1 or 2 psi. And I said, just please go gently. You know, I had made a funnel cone that I stuck over the top, but my friend who owned the car was helping me. I shouldn't say that, but you know, he did. It wasn't exactly his fault. It's just that he did it. He just overgassed it a little bit, and I'm looking at the radiator with the flashlight, and the thing just bursts open my face and sprays hot coolant all over me.
Right.
And you know, it's sort of like my baptism by fire with a pre-war Mercedes.
Right.
But yeah, it is the most intricate part. And what did you do particularly about getting that radiator made and chromed and everything?
Well, there's a guy in Oregon that has done these before. Jim was the general contractor, and he's got a guy lives out in the country and works in the basement of his house, and Jim says he's one of only a couple of guys that have the mental ability to do this tedious work.
Right, and it is a very nice radiator, I have to say. Friswold is famous for his Mercedes radiators. That's right. I think now I know that he has a guy doing it. That makes me feel even better. You know that it's always nice to give to our silent radiator maker a glass of champagne. Anyway, thank you so much, Craig, for allowing me. And what section of the MBCA are you part of?
Fort Worth.
Oh, great. You know, I'm from Fort Worth.
Oh, really?
Did you ever go to the Hedary's restaurant?
Yes.
That was my aunt and my uncle until they split up. Then it was my aunt. And so then they closed that restaurant. My cousin opened Biblos on the north side of town. And if you ever go in there and you see Mario Hedary, tell Mario that you talked to me one day, and that I told him to treat you good.
Okay, I will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And enjoy this car. Only in the Mercedes Benz Club of America, cars like this.
Craig, we okay using it?
Yes.